Hello everyone, welcome to Staking Nerd Talk episode 5. We are together at Devconnect, which is quite rare for us, right?
Yes,
we don't see each other very much.
Not very often.
But I'm glad we were able to see each other here. I'm joined by Yorick.
And I am joined by Remy in beautiful Buenos Aires.
Yeah, and we have some stuff for you to talk about today. We have, first of all, FOCIL. What do you want to say about FOCIL?
What I want to say about FOCIL, it is not about dinosaurs. It is the fork choice enforced inclusion lists, and it is not coming into Glamsterdam. I am very sorry, guys.
I'm sad about that one as well.
So why do we want it, Remy?
Because that keeps us censorship resistant, right?
Yes, it does. So what it is clients will create inclusion lists, and they say this transaction must go into the next block. And the block is invalid, I think, if it doesn't go.
Yeah, I had a quick read at the EIP, and I believe that there's like 16 random validator being selected.
Yep, that's the committee.
To select some transaction to be included. Well,
Yep.
they will publish some inclusion lists, and then the next block builder will have to include them in the next block, right?
Or the block is invalid. That's my understanding as well.
That's my understanding as well.
The testing team at the EF, ETH Panda Ops, said, listen, this is going to delay Glamsterdam. If we do this, because we need to do a lot of testing, we don't actually know what we're testing for because we have no experience with it. So we'll need to do a shadow fork, and this takes time. And so it gets pushed now to Hecka and Bogota.
There's no good portmanteau yet.
There's no good portmanteau yet. It's Hecka and Bogota, whatever we call it. Boca. And it gets pushed to there. However, not all is lost. Potus and team and friends have a really good idea, and he's probably going to set us straight that this wasn't originally his idea. He's just championing it. That we do this opt-in after Glamsterdam, so the inclusion list can be created. The execution layer client can verify that it was obeyed or not. And that gives them really good data. They need to know, for example, so when you think about Glamsterdam, right, we'll have ePBS, so we'll have like 9 to 10 seconds to
Was that confirmed, ePBS being included?
It's still that's still the headliner. Nothing is said, it's out. It's still the headliner. Everybody's assuming ePBS goes in alongside the block access list, the BAL. So, I'm going to go with what we have right now as to scheduled for inclusion. ePBS is scheduled for inclusion. So with that, we have more time to do our attestation, I think 9 to 10 seconds in the 12-second slot, instead of having to do this within the first 4 seconds. Which means that, where was I going with this? FOCIL?
FOCIL, yeah.
Yes.
Censorship resistance.
Censorship resistance, something. I lost my train of thought. It's terrible. At any rate, we can then have the ability. This is what it was. So when we have this much time, what will happen is you build your inclusion list, and you say, this transaction hasn't moved from the mempool in a while. It must go in. But you're already like 10 seconds into the slot. There is a really good chance that the transaction is in that block already. You just doesn't know it yet. So, because you haven't seen it, right?
Yeah.
So the idea here is to run this on mainnet to gather that data, to see how many of the transactions that end up in the inclusion list were already in anyway. And then that informs the testing that PandaOps can do. So they need to know that kind of stuff to tweak parameters and do some testing around FOCIL. Exactly which parameters, don't ask me, I'm not deep in that EIP, but that's what they need. And so that can then make sure that it really does go into Hecka plus Bogota, because they have already done this as kind of like a dry run. Everything works, it's just not consensus relevant.
The concern is that there may be some timing issues, or like there might be some
timing
bandwidth
issues, or there's a way
like
to optimize it so that you don't have so many things in the inclusion list that already got included anyway.
There could be like a
because
broadcasting issue as well.
It's not an issue so much, but you're double broadcasting. It seems wasteful, So Yeah, that's FOCIL. Hopefully it goes into the hard fork after Amsterdam, and the idea is to really test it out on mainnet as optional to get that data so it can go into the next hard fork.
I'm crossing my finger because we need FOCIL for a bunch of other different changes we want to push
Yes,
forward,
we do.
right? So that was just one part of the whole ecosystem issue around FOCIL. But let's move to the next topic. Let's talk about DeprecateBLS.com, right? So this is a
Deprecate
website.
BLS, yes.
A website and a lobby effort to enable stakers who are still on type 0 validator to potentially include a withdrawal address and have access to their staking value on the consensus layer.
Yeah, so specifically I think it's a community member, wood.eth, I think, is that right?
I can't remember exactly, but
yeah. And what he's interested in is helping people who have lost their mnemonic. So if you're one of those, check out Deprecate BLS to make sure you're not getting scammed. Check the eStaker Discord there for the right link.
Yeah.
You can also know that you're not getting scammed when all you need to do is to, with a CLI tool, create a signature that proves that you own the validator. That's really all.
And I believe the signature is based on the deposit address plus the key store, well, the validator signing key.
And we're using the ETHStaker deposit CLI for
Yep.
it, right? So if it's the official ETHStaker deposit CLI, that's the right tool. If it's any other tool, you're getting scammed. Please be careful.
So the concept is that if you can prove that you still have access to the deposit address, plus you have access to the validator signing key, then potentially you can add a withdrawal address and have access to the funds.
Even
if
though you lost
the
the mnemonic. Now, this is not a guarantee that this will go in. This is going to be a lobby effort. The idea is to do this one time only. So gather the data now so that the lobbyists know how many people are impacted, right? So when they go to ACD with this, they're going to say, okay, you're making a big change. You're moving to quantum resistant signatures at some point in the future, 3-4 years. No,
I don't know exactly when
who
that will
knows?
happen,
You
yeah.
know, and it could be 10 years. But Vitalik during Devconnect was like, guys, we have maybe 5 years to get it done, so let's get it done. I hear him there with the concern about long tail risks.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell exactly
It's
when
very
we'll
hard
have
to
like
tell
computer.
when or ever we will have enough quantum compute.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to tell. So as part of this effort to move all of the wallets over to quantum resistant signatures, we have an opportunity to do a one-time change to say, if we need to do this anyway, we're going to allow you to get your ETH back from a validator that basically is stuck because you lost the mnemonic. If you have the mnemonic, just use the regular BLS to execution change. You don't need to do anything special. You don't need to wait. Just do it now. Become a type 1 or type 2 validator. Enjoy your rewards instead of seeing them accumulate on Beacon Chain, not doing anything with them, right?
And that reminds me that, like, if you want to get started with staking or if you want to do a deposit, you should probably just add a withdrawal address right away.
Always
right?
add a withdrawal address.
Because that's
It's
like
such
it
a-
doesn't make any sense to
it is risky not to
keep using those type 0.
It's extremely risky not
validators.
to, right? Because you have to type that mnemonic at some point into a computer, and that's not the case with withdrawal addresses. You only type that into your hardware wallet, and otherwise it stays offline, you know, never stored online. So yeah, always create as a type 1 or type 2, depending on whether you want liquidity or you want compounding.
Fusaka is coming,
Yes.
and there has been a few different client releases, and
Yes.
this is just a reminder that you should be updating your clients before the fork, which is on December 3rd.
December 3rd, soon.
Yeah, and then be careful because like some of these clients, they might release these updates after they publish their initial client version that supports Fusaka. As we just saw with the Lighthouse, which had a second release.
Yep.
So you might want to either wait a little or like just be conscious that there might be updates.
Yeah, the second Lighthouse release is optional for people who already updated Lighthouse. If you haven't updated Lighthouse, just go to that second release. I think it's version 8.01.
Yep.
MEV Boost had an update from version 110 to 110.1. They call 110.1 mandatory. I'm not sure whether you can probably go through Fusaka with 110, but there was a fairly nasty timing bug fixed in 110.1. So you have your MEV boost there and you didn't update to 1.10.1, please do. Prism will have one more release before Fusaka, and that one will fix backfilling and a couple other things. So
you might want to wait until
probably
that
not
release.
super critical if you're already synced, because you don't need to backfill again. But it's something you'll want
Eventually,
and or right before Fusaka. Read the release notes once that's out. That should be out, well, within days, right?
Hopefully,
Early
because
next
like
week.
December 3rd is quite close.
December 3rd is coming, so they said it would happen before the hard fork. Fingers crossed. Yes. So
you were also talking about web signer.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the things you need to pay attention to. You have your consensus layer client, like your Lighthouse. You have a validator client that might be another Lighthouse or Cervero or whatever. Maybe you're using Web3 signer, right? So that needs to be updated. Then you have your execution layer client and your Nethermind, Besu, Geth, Reth, whatever. And then you have your sidecar for MEV boost or commit boost, either one for PBS. So there's like a whole little zoo of software.
As we get to expand the complexity
a whole
of the
little
whole
zoo
thing,
of software you need to pay attention to.
These tools that,
This is also a good time to shill the automation wrappers. If you're in systemd, then CoinCashew has a wonderful little program called ETH Pillar, which will take over your existing systemd setup, and then you just
automate everything.
Automate most things. Like the configuration is still something you will manually edit. He will not change it for you. But so if there's a deprecated command line parameter, flag or something, you need to do that yourself. But the client updates are automated, so you can go into ETH Pillar and just navigate through the menu and say update everything, and it will. Huge time saver.
It is,
absolutely. And of course, users of my very own ETH Docker is just 2 commands: ETH the update followed by ETH the up.
What if someone added a custom flag in their env file?
For ETH Docker?
Yeah, for ETH Docker. Maybe the
custom flags are kept. No, I'm not overwriting anything there.
You might still want to check out if that custom flag is still being used or was
if it's still there, absolutely. If it's been deprecated, so read the release notes for the clients. If you have a custom flag that's been deprecated, your client will not start, but you'll see that with SD logs. So check the logs after you update always. If whether you're in systemd or not, you want to make sure that stuff works.
Reading these fine print is always helpful.
Make yourself familiar with what it looks like when it's healthy, so you know when it's not.
Yeah, we had the Staking Gathering, our own event at Devconnect.
Yes, we did. It was great.
What did you take out of it?
I really loved it. A lot of, I would say, very interesting talks. I was not bored. I listened to almost everything. It was well organized by our very own Jonathan. It was in the Malva Museum, so
which was like such a nice venue for us.
What a wonderful venue! We got a little bit of a very rushed visit through the museum at the end of the day. Took a couple pictures of a couple pictures, so photographs of a few paintings. Yeah, it was good. I really had fun.
You had this
check
great
it out on YouTube.
Yeah, we have the live recording available on YouTube. The videos are not splitted yet. There's no cut.
There's going to be timestamps in there, yeah.
But we'll add the timestamp, and then we'll add potentially like all the individual talk will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to.
Yeah, right now it's like a 5-hour marathon. Yeah. Sorry.
Almost like a 10-hour thing, so you don't need to
we'll
watch
get
the whole
there.
thing if you're not interested in everything. I loved your interview with Danny Ryan.
Danny Ryan is such a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Heart in the right space as far as Ethereum goes, and very personable, good communicator.
What did you like most about the content of that discussion?
How focused he is, I think, on the health of the ecosystem in general and supporting home and solo stakers.
Even if like he's more into the business side, right?
He is completely into the business side. He's helping Wall Street on board, but he's also saying, the banks don't understand the risks inherent in Ethereum, and we can control these risks with decentralization. That's the right way to think about it,
We also had a bunch of other events at Devconnect. This is the official last day of Devconnect.
It's the last day.
There's still a few things happening here. Was there any other event that you liked or that you had some good insight from?
So today was ETH Proofs Day.
It was.
you're going to hear a whole lot more about this over the coming months
For
and
sure,
years,
yeah.
and eStaker will be involved as much as we can be.
All the ZK proof.
All the ZK proving, all the
uh,
lean Ethereum. So the thing I saw this morning was a demo by Justin Drake. Really blew my mind. They took a lighthouse, they modified it, so it no longer needs an execution layer client, and it can validate. So imagine, right? You're running, like, I don't know, even like a tiny little computer will likely work, or it's an older NUC or something, and you can have a 512 gig drive, and it'll be enough. You still need to store the database for Lighthouse, but you no longer have an execution layer client.
You have to,
no, never mind.
Yeah, you have to rely on third-party provers, though.
Yes, you have to rely on third-party provers. There are currently 7 provers on mainnet that deliver real-time proofs of every block, which is pretty impressive. And this Lighthouse subscribes to a special peer-to-peer gossip channel to get the proofs. Then it runs a verification of the proof that takes 100 milliseconds, like a tenth of a second, super fast. And then it attests to that. Now, running this now, I should say a couple things about that. That is not rational to do right now.
This is very much experimental.
This is super experimental. It's not ready for prime time.
Don't go ahead and run this on your own.
We will actually have one user on Discord who's like, oh, I love this. I'm going to take one of my many validators and run it that way, which is cool when you have many and you're rich like that, right? But no, it's not rational to do because, well, one, it's extremely experimental software. And then 2, you don't get optimal rewards. While you don't have to run the execution layer client, which is great, no more disk space anxiety, no more pruning, none of that, right? You also, because you have to wait for the proof, you're not gonna be timely. So right now in a 12-second slot, you need to attest within 4 seconds. And the proofs take, well, let's say 99.7% of the proofs are generated within 12 seconds. That's great already, but it's too late to attest in a timely manner.
For most,
it's too late to attest
for
timely.
good behavior.
Yeah, exactly. After Glamsterdam, that may look different. Justin is very optimistic and thinks that maybe 10% of the validator set might opt into this type of attesting, because then with ePBS you have more time to attest, and so you can just grab the proof, attest, and be timely and get great rewards and not have to run EL.
So the feature pretty much has a bunch of ZK proof in them, right?
Yeah, it does. It's leaning into that ZK proving new future. If it becomes, and I want to also be careful, if this becomes where Ethereum goes, this is the vision of Justin Drake and the team around him for lean Ethereum. However, that is not currently the official roadmap for Ethereum. It's kind of being built, you know, in parallel.
As a parallel track, yeah.
As a parallel track. I like to quip. It turns out you can just do things, and
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And broad buy-in by governance will have to be sought before this becomes a mandatory component of Ethereum and an actual official component of Ethereum. Right now, it's just a way to run a validator that is not, you know, sanctioned by core devs as such, by all core devs, right?
Yeah. Myself, I was at the $1 trillion event today, where we tried to figure out how we can have $1 trillion assets on the blockchain, and most of that discussion was surrounding the security of like every component of the whole ecosystem. But I feel like most of the talk were very much, well, we had a few tracks and I was part of the off-chain social track, but I feel like the main track that was focused on was the wallet aspect of the whole ecosystem and the blind signing issue that we have right now. So a lot of this discussion was done there. There was no recording, no photograph there, but I believe the slides of the summaries will be published, so that will be something to take a look at later on.
Do you have a takeaway there on what they want to do about blind signing?
I believe, like, I don't know if you heard about this. I believe Ledger has a client signing feature, but that one is quite expensive. As in terms of like as being a user, you have to pay. You have to pay for it. But there's a bunch of different I'd say like a free and open solution that are coming out from especially this initiative when I want to try to onboard potentially like the next billion user on Ethereum as well. So we'll have to have a look at that eventually.
So the idea is that they'll give you a human readable and understandable version of what it is you're signing there.
The goal is to get there, but there's like different approach to get there. You potentially need to have access to like the source code of the smart contract you're interacting with, or you potentially have to have access to good simulation of your transactions. So there's
so this is non-trivial.
This is very non-trivial way to.
This is a hard problem.
This is a hard problem, which is why like, there's a bunch of different approach to this. Anything else about Devconnect that we learned today? I think there's one interesting thing. Devcon next year is going to be in Mumbai.
Yes.
Are you excited
Devcon
to
is
go
in Mumbai.
To Mumbai?
I am not going to Mumbai.
You're not, all right.
I'm not going to Mumbai, but I'm sure people will have a blast in Mumbai, India. And yeah, I look forward to hearing what is happening at DevCon when people come back, but I personally will not be going.
All right. Is there anything else in the Devconnect space that we should be talking about that we missed?
Nothing I can think of right now.
All right. Well then, do you have anything else we want to say about
my
this?
last thing I want to say is, please help us out here. We desperately need topics to talk about.
For sure.
So if you have something we like, can you explain XYZ? Or I have a question. Please put that in the YouTube comments or come to ETHStaker Discord and ask it there. And we will put it into our long list of topics we haven't covered yet, which is getting shorter, that's the problem.
Yep.
And then we'll cover it at SNT 6 or 7 or something. And until then, thank you.
Thank you, and make sure not to stake like Yorick.
Don't stake like Remy.
Bye-bye.